Thank you, Mr. President. I rise obviously to appeal the ruling of the chair. This amendment is certainly germane to the bill in chief, as the bill in chief intends to promote housing affordability. Not yet. Promote housing affordability, and the amendment deals with the very issue of affordability that is critical here in the state of New York. Now, during the resolutions, we heard about Benjamin Franklin, and I want to take you back. Obviously, this year we are celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence and the founding of the United States of America. But the American Revolution really started in earnest. Some would say the Battle of Lexington and Concord in 1775. Some would say that the seeds of it may have started as far back as 1765 in the Stamp Act, but really 1773, when a group of patriots dumped tea into Boston Harbor a couple of hundred miles to our east over a 6% tax that was imposed on the colonists for every pound of tea that was sold. 6%. This chamber, this government, under one-party rule in the state of New York over the course of the last 8 years has done far worse than 6%. When you look at what we are spending over $100 million more, not a 6% increase, but an over 60% increase in just the last 8 years in the amount of money that we are taking from our New York State taxpayers, the amount of money that we are taking for our economy. That equates to $5,000 for every man, woman, and child in the state of New York. Think about that. The difference between then and now is that King George recognized way too late. Patriots rose up and they defeated Great Britain because they had nowhere else to go, and they fought for their homeland. The difference today, under the monarchy of one-party rule here in the state of New York over the course of the last 8 years, is that New Yorkers do have other places to go, and they are going. We are fighting a revolution here in the state of New York, but that revolution is not being fought with rifles and with bayonets. That revolution in the state of New York is being fought with cardboard boxes and moving vans. As New York State has lost more than 1 million people just since 2020 alone, according to the Empire Center, we are anticipated to lose over the course of the next 15 years another 2 million of our citizens, losing 2 congressional seats potentially in the next census. People are voting with their feet, and they are leaving New York State for lower tax states like Texas and Florida, who have seen increases in population contrary to our decreases of 2.9 million and 1.6 million, respectively. It is time for us to recognize that the problem with affordability in the state of New York is us. We are the highest taxed state in the nation. In tax affordability, this state has been ranked dead last, and you are seeing the results every day. This amendment, sponsored by the Republican Conference, which I had the honor of introducing, is Bill S9110. That is a Taxpayer Rescue Act. And while over the course of the last 8 years we have been taking $5,000 from every man, woman, and child in the state of New York, this Taxpayer Rescue Act would be the single largest personal income tax cut in the history of the state of New York. Phased in over 10 years, it would actually eliminate state income tax from the first $50,000 of income for single filers, $75,000 for single head of household, and the first $100,000 of income from state income tax for every single family in the state of New York. And we do that not by drastic cuts, but by reversing the trend of the last 8 years and limiting the rate of growth in the New York State budget. Every other municipality in the state of New York has to live by a spending cap. In fact, by the way, before one-party rule took hold in 2019, our budgets were limited by the spending cap. That has gone by the boards. And you have seen the $100 million increase, 60% increase in the amount of money that this state spends. Phased in over 10 years, this would actually save the average family in the state of New York $5,000. And if you think that that doesn't matter, this isn't a one-time gimmick. We're not talking about an inflation rebate check for $200, $300, $400 that happens one time. We are talking about real, sustainable tax relief for every single New York family. And this matters in each and every one of our home districts. You realize that the average median income, family median income in the state of New York is $85,000. And by this amendment today, what you have the opportunity to do is at the end of this phase-in, the average family in the state of New York will pay no New York State income tax. It is affordable, it is responsible, it is reliable, and it is exactly the relief that taxpayers across the state of New York are calling for, and is something that could actually help save this state. This approach ensures affordability without shifting the tax burden elsewhere. It is time for the members of this chamber to recognize that it is the right move at the right time to help save our state. And so in 56 out of the 62 counties in this state, that means that the average resident, the average family, will pay no New York State income tax. Mr. President, and to the members here, as soon as I sit down, you're going to be told that this is a vote on the procedures of the House. And I know that that's the standard line. But understand that when you're voting today, and you are voting for or against this particular amendment, you are voting for whether or not the residents in Orange, Putnam, Albany, Ulster, Onondaga, Schenectady County, you are voting on whether or not you are going to put $5,000 back into the pockets of those families, not just one year, but every single year. Mr. President, I can think of nothing more germane when we're talking about affordability, and germaneness means relevancy. For the future of the state of New York, I can think of nothing more relevant than this bill, S9110, the Taxpayer Rescue Plan, which we need to pass in order to rescue hardworking New Yorkers from Albany's tax chaos. Thank you, Mr. President.